everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing star 6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak. Again, pressing star 6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. All right, we will begin with the Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Bell.
Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioner Yamamoto.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, it looks like from my agenda that Adventist Health Tillamook is unavailable today, so we would roll right into our Coastal Caucus. There is Senator Weber, I do believe. Would you like to kick us off, Senator? Good morning.
It's nice to be here. I've missed the last couple of weeks. And last week, I believe you were away, and the week before, it was Ledge Days. And so I was in Salem and had meetings early in the morning. There were a couple days that started at 7:30 in the morning and went quite late. And it's 3 days of scheduled meetings to get reports from the committees that you're a part of and the task forces that you've been assigned to, and to find out what exactly has happened in the interim. We do this 3 times between the sessions to make sure that we are completely familiar with how agencies and people in the Capitol are dealing with what it was that we passed in the session. And so it was pretty intense. And it kind of bleeds over because there isn't enough time often in the 3 days. And so I spent 5 days there in meetings. But the learning and the information that you gain in those sessions is invaluable. Because going forward, you've got to make some really important decisions. And so that information plays heavily on it. There was also a time when the 9th of the month was when we had to submit our bill concepts, and so we'll be finding out exactly which bills have been are going forward. We each have 2 that we can propose, and so we'll find out more real soon. This week we had been talking about several of them because yesterday, my time in Salem, I had my task force meeting with the Oregon Hunger Task Force. Extremely important that we feed our children, we feed them well, and we make sure that there is food accessibility. And so, we're concerned going forward, how the state is going to continue to address this. Yesterday I also had the early literacy working group. That's the result of a bill that was the governor's bill because of how we rate in education, how we rate in how our kids are reading, taking into consideration how they're doing in math on a national level, on a local level. And so we are working on what it is we need to have our teachers prepared for to be able to teach reading when they when they have their degrees and they go into teaching. And we have to know what is expected as far as our curriculum to be taught concerning reading. And so it's a rather large group, and but it's amazing how much work and how many ideas. There are people that are teachers there. There are people that are parents in this group. There are legislators. There are people from the Department of Education, from the governor's office. And we have some really exciting conversations about the future of education. And then I finished the day with my last meeting, which was the Joint Public Education Appropriations Committee, which is a rather long name, but it is a committee that is vetting the report that is going to be coming out in December concerning our education. We're looking at student success. We're looking at the quality education model. Those sorts of things, especially what we have been focusing on is K through 12, but we've also got to remember that education is lifelong. It starts in the cradle and it goes through college and beyond. And so we have had some really good conversations around that and around how it is that we are going to adequately fund what we need for the future. Today, I'm going to continue visiting the district's healthcare facilities, and I will be in Seaside, finding out about the Providence Seaside Hospital and what its challenges and opportunities are for the future. And then I'll finish the day with the Coastal Caucus meeting, and that is, a meeting of all of the legislators up and down the coast, and what applies especially to our coastal environment as far as, being a cohesive group that is working towards forwarding the issues that are so important on the Oregon coast. I was also really privileged last week to have Senator Wagner and his aide McKinsey come, and he is the Senate President. And, I spend all this time telling him about DJ Josie's turnips and how beautiful the forest is, and our logging, and our mills, and our fishermen. And so I finally had an opportunity to get him to Tillamook, and with the help of the guys from Hampton and Hopkins Logging, I was able to get him up in the woods and see some beautiful scenery, and look at how responsibly we are taking care of the land, especially in our logging practices. And then he was given a tour of the Hampton Mill, and seeing how efficiently and how completely the lumber products are being used. And then I took him to DJ Josie so he could get some of those wonderful turnips that he has there and some other root vegetables. And DJ gave him a tour of, his growing facility. And we finished the day by coming back to my house for a dish of Tillamook ice cream. Mm-hmm. And it was a wonderful visit, and it was a wonderful way to be able to introduce a small town on the coast to someone who comes from the valley and doesn't really understand all of the issues that we are facing as a small town in a small county. I have to compliment Adventist Health. They had their 50th anniversary. Well, we were gone from each other, and I was also able to visit another Adventist Health facility in Portland this last week. And it wasn't to tour, it was because I was there with a family member, but the same caring attention to detail was in Portland as we have always experienced here in Tillamook, and so I want to congratulate them on their 50th anniversary. And I also want to wish everyone a really happy Thanksgiving. Christmas is right around the corner. We have a lot to be grateful for, and we need to take this opportunity to just, before that Christmas season begins, to really focus on what in this area we are grateful for. We have so much, we are so blessed, and we need to be able to recognize that every single day. And with Christmas right around the corner, I want you to remember that right in downtown Tillamook on December 2nd is going to be the beginning of the season with the lighting of the tree and fabulous entertainment and free food. And of course, we've got the wonderful light parade, which I'm sure you can get a hold of Lisa Greiner if you are thinking about being in a light parade, because it's always a wonderful, festive evening. And so, County Commissioners, I'm really thankful that you are able to provide this for our community. You are another thing that I and our community are really grateful for. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate everything that you are doing, and I just really want to throw out a big thank you for your work with an elected from the Valley. I think, Tillamook Working Lands and Waters, that's really what their goal has been, is to create these educational tours. And I love that you have taken that concept and really created your own tour for an individual legislator that just didn't understand us. So great work. Thank you for continuing that work.
You're very welcome.
All right. Okay, so I am looking. I do not. Wait a minute. I do. Look at that. Representative Javity, are you there with us?
I am here. Good morning.
Okay. Wonderful. You tricked me when you popped in. So I'm happy to see you. Please go ahead.
Well, glad to be here. Last night I was at the Tillamook Farm Bureau's annual meeting. Heard some great updates. Able to talk to the farmers about the legislative session this last winter, and then the upcoming short session. We talked about the hot topics, which are the Habitat Conservation Plan and Measure 110. That's making headlines right now. So that was a great visit. I also was able to go up this week and meet with the folks at the Seaside Hospital. They're another critical care and critical access hospital that is, facing some of the same challenges that we are down here in Tillamook. Recruiting enough nurses to meet some of the ratios and regulations that the state has implemented in this last session. But they've, aside from that, they've got a really good operation. It's nice that we have these resources along the coast. I know that members of northern Tillamook County, sometimes it's a little easier for them to get to Seaside. So we've got, some great hospitals in our district. This week, obviously Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hopefully everyone takes some time to be with family. Looks like the weather is going to be good. And other issues that are kind of on my radar right now are just, I guess not really just continuing to work with DEQ. I met with the Director Feldman, about some of the wastewater issues that our seafood processors are facing, and trying to find a resolution that will work for everybody. I've also been talking with local city officials about our wastewater needs so we can continue to have housing. So some good discussion happening there. And of course Measure 110, which is, legalizing drugs, or recriminalizing drugs, especially fentanyl, continues to be a topic that's on everybody's mind across the state. And just a word of warning, I'm not sure if Senator Weber mentioned this again, or Eric from the hospital, but be very careful about pills that you don't know where they've come from. Fentanyl often gets laced into a lot of these medications and has 50 times more potent than heroin, and it doesn't take very much of it to slow your breathing down to the point where there's a medical emergency, including death. And if you don't have the reverse, the antidote, Narcan, it can be some very bad outcomes. I know we've had a couple of people recently make headlines here in Tillamook County that have overdosed, whether they knew they were taking fentanyl or they were taking something else. It's unfortunate, and there really isn't a very high margin of safety, and this is a giant concern, and we need to do whatever we can to get these drugs off of our streets. I saw some numbers yesterday just to close up on this, but pre-2019, pre-Measure 110 in 2019, we had overdose deaths, of course, and they were, we've seen that increase substantially. So In 2019, 1 year before Measure 210, we had 280 opioid deaths in Oregon. In 2020, that went up to 472. So that's the year we implemented Measure 110. And by 2022, so a year ago, we were up to 1,000 opioid deaths. Now, in relation to the nation, because this is a nationwide problem, Oregon's not doing that great. Nationwide, we've seen over the course of the last 4 years a doubling in the number of opioid deaths nationwide on average. The state of Washington has seen an increase of 7 times where they were in 2019. Oregon is one of the worst. We're at 13 times the number of deaths. So this is a real problem, and whether it's going to be a full repeal of Measure 110 or partial repeal remains to be seen, but something needs to be done where to recriminalize or at least figure a way to get these drugs off the street. But at the same time, we still need the money to fund our addiction recovery programs, so that we can give people the help they need instead of just putting them into jail and hoping that sorts it out. So a big problem for Oregon, and especially when it hits close to home, it's not fun to talk about. And so be safe, warn your kids, continue to warn your kids. Fentanyl doesn't look like anything other than a regular pill, so it can be easy to be confused by what it is. And that's it. So not a ton of great news, but just this holiday weekend, be safe. And of course, if you need anything, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Representative. I'm going to follow up on a couple things that you brought up. One of them is the fentanyl. I was at the Association of Oregon Counties conference this last week, and we had presentation from a variety of leaders across the state who are working on ways to combat this. But I think one of the most sobering things that I heard, akin to the numbers that you were sharing, is that fentanyl hit the East Coast before it hit the West Coast, and it's been working its way across the nation, and of course it is here now. And looking at the numbers as they've happened on the East Coast, we are about halfway up the curve of what we can expect in terms of the increase in fentanyl on our streets and the increase in deaths if we do not quell this somehow. So it's just very sobering to recognize we are part of a national trend, and we're not to the end of this yet. It is likely to get worse before it gets better. So I just really encourage people, as we talk about the dangers of fentanyl, the way that we help people not overdose and not die, frankly, is by talking about this, is by making sure, as you pointed out, a representative, that all of our kids know
some time to go to drama. I'm like, do you
what
want to
this is like. Somebody's unmuted.
Like we've had enough drama today.
I'm looking.
Can we mute? There we go.
Oops.
There we go. So anyway, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it openly in our communities, as you have brought up as a representative, that is deadly. So I encourage people to learn about it. I encourage people to understand it is everywhere, and it likely will get worse before it gets better. And so join us in trying to slow that trend. The other thing I wanted to bring up, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, while we're on that, but I know the hospital will, pretty sure the hospital, I want to confirm this, will give the antidote, Narcan, to people if they, I don't know if you have to have an incident or know somebody that has, but, just having that on hand, if you think there's someone in your family that might benefit from that or have that available, can really save their life. It's really the only antidote to an overdose. So
That's correct.
If you have a resource online that says where you can get that easily, whether it's EMS or a fire station or the hospital, would be a great resource for locals.
Absolutely, and I believe the Our Tillamook site, Our Tillamook, I don't have it on the tip of my tongue, but search Our Tillamook, and I believe it will tell you where you can get it. It is available through the health department, so if anyone would like to have Narcan and you don't, you can get it through the health department. I know it has been distributed through our libraries. There are Narcan boxes around town. For example, on the outside of the building at CARE, there's a Narcan box. Thank you. Rachel just chimed in. Fentanyl Aware Northwest is more up to date than the Our Tillamook. And the fentanyl, so just search the Fentanyl Aware Northwest online, and it will tell you where you can get that throughout the community. If you would like a training for your business, as an example, or your agency, you can reach out to the health department through Rachel Koljeski or our Tillamook, and we can get trainings as well, and Narcan distribution, because you're absolutely right that the best thing we can do right now to keep people alive is make sure that Narcan is everywhere. And all of our emergency responders do have Narcan, as well as many of the folks that just are throughout our community. We have Narcan, I believe, in our schools now. So we really have been working as a community and as public health and as our Tillamook in partnership with Adventist Health and all of our actually medical and other partners to get that throughout the community. We want people to stay alive so that they can not make the same mistake twice and they can receive treatment as needed. So that was just a little more on the fentanyl. And then while I have you here, Representative, talking about the DEQ water issues, and I know that this is a huge deal for our seafood processors, but I'd like to cue you to a couple of things that are also coming to our hatcheries. We're seeing it start right now down in the Santiam area following the fire. Hatcheries bring in water, obviously, from streams locally, and they have long been under a DEQ requirement to return that water to the streams as clean as they received it, which is not a small task, but they have been working hard at it. And what they've been able to do is if you have a horrible rainstorm and you have a lot of mud, you simply say, hey, I have an emergency event, and you get a break from that for that storm event. Well, what's happening now is there's been a lawsuit, and now temperature is also going to be an issue. And if water leaves a fish hatchery at a certain temperature, that puts them at risk for continuing operations. The problem is there is no waiver if it comes into the hatchery warmer than that to begin with. So if you receive warm water, which by the way, after the fires on the Santiam and the loss of the amount of tree cover that would keep that water cool, if it comes in too warm and goes out too warm, it puts those hatchery operations at risk. So as you're talking to DEQ about these issues, please dive into this conversation of hatcheries as well, and what DEQ can help with. How can we not lose our production of salmon, frankly, because water's coming in too warm and the hatcheries are being penalized for it coming out too warm. Very, very similar, it sounds like, to the seafood processors, where water's coming in with contaminants and they're being penalized because those same contaminants come out the other side. We got to get some common sense in here.
I like it. I'll put that down as an issue to talk with. Obviously, we can't do anything if the water's coming in warm, especially when we've lost that tree cover. So thanks for putting that on my radar, and I will follow up with DEQ.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
okay. Absolutely. Thank you, Coastal Caucus. We really appreciate you being with us. I know that this is a highlight for our communities, and just appreciate the work you do for us.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. I know that Rachel's here because she just sent me a message, but I'm not seeing Ed Colson, who normally gives our report out. So is there someone else reporting for us today from Public Health? Okay, not hearing anyone. We will move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, and I do believe I saw Gail Nelson with us.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for the conversation on the fentanyl crisis. We do support the Narcan distribution and have the kits available as well, and I would also encourage those to take advantage of the training sessions that are offered. I did participate in one myself, and I found it very, very helpful. Otherwise, we do have a couple of other things to share. Of course, we have the COVID and flu vaccines. If interested in receiving, please give us a call to schedule an appointment, 800-368-5182. And if you're here in Wheeler visiting or scheduling or just sharing your thoughts, please pick up some COVID home tests and N95 masks. They are still available. And also our medicine disposal site update. As previously shared, it was necessary for us to remove the Med Project drop box for expired or unused prescription meds from our lobby. And now our mail-in option is ready. And for folks who need to return expired or unused medicines, please see one of our staff members when you arrive for a mail-in envelope. These are prepaid and complete with instructions for what to do. And another announcement about our pharmacy is we are soon going to be offering a service where we mail prescriptions directly to patients.
Oh,
So more information will be shared as we finalize this new offering. So our pharmacy hours continue to be 9 to 5:30, open during lunch. And a friendly reminder, our clinic and pharmacy will be closed Thursday and Friday, so our staff can spend time with their families. And I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy and blessed Thanksgiving. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you.
Perfect. Thank you, Gail. Are there any questions for Gail? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Hannah Williams.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
This is Frank Hannah Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Behavioral health services for Tillamook County residents. Don't have a lot of specific information today. I want to wish everyone a happy holiday, and also to just kind of make just a little a little comment here that we sometimes put a lot of pressure on ourselves around holidays and holiday gatherings with family. And sometimes there are some emotional barriers that kind of cloud our relationships with our families, and sometimes we may find ourselves feeling like we're not quite sure if we want to get together. And what I would say is to just to remind people that in the bigger scheme of things, Thanksgiving is one day, a 24-hour period, and we need to keep our expectations realistic and think about that as we get together. And that's probably what I wanted to share today. Is that we want to keep things as realistic as possible and not put too much pressure on ourselves. I think that sometimes the holiday sort of takes over, and we sometimes maybe need to take a step back, and maybe that family gathering needs to be limited for a certain period of time, but something that we can manage. And we can always reach out to friends, to friends, our church communities. Maybe there's someone that you know that you can talk to about some of the challenges that you may be having with your family. But again, I think I've probably said enough here. Just want to wish everyone a happy holiday, but also to make sure that folks sometimes maybe give a second thought and to keep it realistic. So, if you have any other questions about the agency or concerns about appointments, information about any other programs we have, 503-842-8201. And I'll take any comments or questions at this time.
Thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank? Okay, no questions. Thank you for bringing up the expectations. I do know that holidays do add stress, so I appreciate that boundary conversation. Okay, moving forward, Sheriff's Office. I do believe I saw Sheriff Brown.
Good morning. I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning. We can. Thank you.
So I don't have anything specific to update everybody on, and I do want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving this week. I do also want to note that I appreciate what Frank was saying. A lot of times during these holiday seasons, especially as we get to these very, big family type holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc., very strong emotions come out, and those aren't always the positive type emotions. The Sheriff's Office does see an increase in calls when it comes to holidays, oddly enough, and so I think the value of what Frank had mentioned and what he was saying was very high as we come into these holiday times, and It's important to enjoy these holidays and the time you get to spend with your family, but having real expectations is definitely good advice. So I do appreciate that. With that, I'll take any questions, but that's all I have.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions for the sheriff? All right, not hearing any. Let's move on to emergency management. Mr. Randy Thorpe.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
The word for the week is king tides. We're going to start our king tide season this weekend on Saturday, and it'll go through Tuesday. So, of course, those king tides are going to show an increase in tide levels, probably around an additional 2 feet. So we are going to see that normal, unfortunate flooding that we do see along the coast in those areas that get affected just by the tides. But on the good side, because we're going to have some beautiful weather after our rain on Wednesday, the rivers will not be coming out of their banks, so to speak. So that's the good news. But again, the king tide's coming in. Be extremely careful if you decide to go down to the coast to view those spectacular tides that come in. And also those who are prone to flooding due to the high tides, just to be aware that that is going to occur this weekend, and take whatever precautions that you may be able to do. So other than that, just be extremely careful and enjoy your holiday weekend. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Randy. Any questions for Randy? Okay, not hearing any. We will move on to our Board of Commissioner updates, and we'll start with Commissioner Bell.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I have several things I'd like to report on. One very exciting thing is that as of yesterday, Cape Mears Loop is open. So after being closed for years, that road is officially open as of yesterday. It's beautiful. I didn't get to drive on it yesterday, but I did get to drive on it before it was completely finished, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So for folks who live in Cape Mears and Oceanside, this is more than a scenic route. It's their emergency egress should 131 be closed by landslide or falling trees or whatever. Cape Mears Loop will provide emergency egress for those communities, which was our primary concern because it's been closed for a long time due to landslides. The road that, for folks who've been tracking this project, the road that slid was it wasn't rebuilt. So a new road has been re-engineered up over the mountain, and it's gorgeous. The elevation is higher. There are stunning views from both sides. And because it was largely funded, not entirely, but largely funded by federal dollars because it goes through federal land, it's the quality of the road is like the quality of the roads we experience in national parks. I mean, it's really nice. It's probably the nicest road in Delaware County. So get out and take a look. When it's not icy, it's pretty. As I said, the elevation is high and the grade is steep. And so when it's not icy or snowy, when it's icy and snowy, it'll probably be closed. But get out, take a look, enjoy the road. And I'm thrilled for residents in Cape Mears and Oceanside that they now have emergency egress. And thanks, special shout out to Chris Lady, the Director of Public Works, which includes the Roads Department, for chaperoning and championing this project for a number of years. It was a huge project, and there was a ton of complicated multi-agency work that had to be done, and Chris really was our hero in this project, so thank you, Chris Lady. Also on the subject of roads and parks is that the South Jetty repairs are about to start, which is very exciting. That's been on, to-do list, like things that need to be done for many, many years, for, 20 years, as long as anybody in our office remembers. So that's finally been funded through the federal government, and the process will be that they're going to barge that rock in. So it's very interesting. But what citizens need to know is that the road on Bay Ocean Peninsula
when you drive into Bay Ocean Peninsula, then there's a road that's usually gated that goes out to the point. And that road is going to be intermittently closed for a couple of years until the fall of 2025. And the reason is because the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the contractors will be using that road, and it'll be heavily used, big trucks, not safe. And I want people to know this and spread the word, because a lot of people walk on that road, and a lot of people bicycle on that road. I like that road, and it's not going to be safe for public use intermittently for the next couple of years. So hopefully they hope to get some signs up to let people know when there's break-in work and the road is open again. But just be aware that if you use Bay Ocean Peninsula for recreation, that it's going to be a work site for the next couple of years, and that road will be closed. And I also wanted to mention that I'm the liaison to Tillamook County Parks, and I'm currently the Tillamook County Parks interim director. And we are working on annual passes. Previously, I think annual passes haven't been for sale until January, the first of the year. And we're working at trying to get them ready to go the 1st of December so people can give them for Christmas presents, which I'm excited about because I'm going to give some for Christmas presents. I know a lot of people who use them, and they'll make great presents. So check with us around the 1st of December. I don't know if we'll start selling them in person then or online, but our goal is if you're buying them online, you will definitely be able to buy them online the 1st of December. And if you order them, we'll get them to you in time for you to give them for Christmas presents. So annual Parks Pass is available earlier this year. I wanted to say, Senator Weber mentioned Adventist Health's 50-year anniversary serving Tillamook County, and I wanted to mention that also. 50 years of us having high-quality health care in Tillamook County, health care that's not available in other rural communities at the level of it that it is here. It's really something to be grateful for, and I am grateful. And about a week and a half ago, I had an opportunity to go to their Adventist Health Tillamook's anniversary celebration, which they held at the Tillamook Seventh-day Adventist Church. And it was just a fabulous event. It was so nice. I thank everyone. The whole community was invited, and it was just lovely. They had wonderful music, and they had their regional director of ministry was there, and he gave a fabulous sermon, and there were all kinds of people were invited, like special guests were invited to give stories about the history of their experience working for Adventist Health in Tillamook, and that was wonderful. They had a great children's program. They had one of the most impressive things is they have a group for teens that they call Pathfinders, and the Pathfinders made a video to tell people about all of the good works that the church is involved in the community, and it was outstanding. So the whole thing was just really inspired and filled me with gratitude. So thank you to Adventist Health Tillamook for 50 years of service, and thanks to the Seventh-day Adventist Church for hosting that wonderful event. And I wanted to mention a couple of education things. I am the chair of Tillamook Bay Community College Board of Education, and we are undergoing a director search. So for folks who might not have heard this, President Ross Tomlin wants to retire, and bless him, he's been with us for about 7 years, and there have been times, I think he may have wanted to retire previous to now, but there's so much going on, so many great programs, like the nursing program that's starting soon, and the new healthcare education building, etc., that he has postponed his retirement because of these amazing projects. So, however, he would really like to retire. So we've started a presidential search. I'm the president or the chair of that committee, and I'm happy to report that I think we have 24 qualified applicants from all over the world. So it's very exciting to see so many people be interested in working in Tillamook County. So I'll keep you updated as that search progresses, but it's encouraging that there's so much interest and we got a bunch of good people working on it, so that's great news. And then also I wanted to mention that I was invited by the Tillamook Education Consortium to be on their career and technical education work group, where they've just organized. Last night was the first meeting. So it's the Tillamook Educational Consortium Career and Technical Education K-14 curriculum group, and they're inviting community members and in addition to educators, they're inviting other people to be a part of this group and talk about what really needs to happen to prepare students to become our future workforce. And last night was the first meeting, and it was fascinating. They talked about things that I've never seriously considered, or at all considered. For instance, what curriculum is appropriate for in kindergarten, first, second, third grade, to prepare children to be the future workforce? And so it was fascinating. We talked about values and teaching kids good habits, and it was a very holistic approach to our future leaders are in kindergarten today, and what are they going to need to know? And so it was a dynamic group. It was a great discussion. They are looking for more people to participate in this work, and particularly industry people. So if there are people who are thinking about career and technical education in your business, in your farm, in your field, and you'd like to be part of this discussion, please reach out to me or Chad Holloway at Nestucca Valley School District. If you don't remember that, you can reach out to me by email is best, and I will direct you. And other than that, I want to say thank you to everyone in our community for the good work you do. There are many things I'm thankful for, but at the top of my list is good people doing good work. So thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions for Commissioner Bell? Okay, not hearing any. Commissioner Yamamoto.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So last week was a bittersweet week for me, our ALC annual conference, and that was my last ALC annual conference as commissioner. Meeting with, and there were over 500 people at that event. That was one of the biggest ALC annual meetings that we've ever had. It was great to see commissioners that I've been working with for 7 years. Really a bittersweet moment, because I'm going to miss everyone at ALC. Also, the Council of Forest Westland Counties has its annual meeting at the ALC annual conference. And that was my last meeting as chair of that great organization. And again, I'm really going to miss that. So John Sweet from Coos County, vice chair for many years, was elected chair, and Aaron Scarr, our own Aaron Scarr, was voted as vice chair of the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties. So I'm very happy to know that organization is going to continue on with great strength. So I want to congratulate John and especially Aaron. Probably the highlight for me was the governor, and the governor hardly ever attends our ALC annual meetings, which is odd. But Governor Kotek attended our meeting, and she provided an address to us after breakfast. And it was great to hear from the governor. She stuck around for a few minutes afterwards, and I got the opportunity to meet with her, and I really thanked her. First governor that really saw the problems that were happening with the Department of Forestry HCP, the Habitat Conservation Plan, and how it was going to affect the 15 trust counties in some drastic ways financially. She saw this. She actually figured out that, we were going to be hurt in some big ways, and so she asked some of her staff to meet with us, and we've been meeting now on a weekly basis for the past month and a half, almost 2 months. These meetings are called by the governor, and we've been asked just to keep our internal discussions from the public at this point, and we are. But we are making some progress, and so again, I thank the governor profusely for seeing the problems that are going to be affecting us, and for trying to help us find a solution for those problems. So I think that's great. One other thing I'd like to mention, and it was my honor to nominate Aaron Scarr for second vice president of AOC, which he won handily. So Commissioner Scarr is going to be very busy over the next few years, but we appreciate everything that Erin's doing, and she's going to do a great job at AOC. So with that, Madam Chair, I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, AOC was a fabulous conference. I talked a little bit about the fentanyl presentation that I had a chance to attend. I also had the opportunity to attend a presentation on new land use laws from the state and how those are affecting us as counties, and then the opportunity to attend a session related to the ONC's counties, which is another board that I will be moving into as Commissioner Yamamoto moves away from it, and it is related to a county-federal relationship related to timber lands as well. So as Commissioner Yamamoto shared, I am moving into the vice chair role of the CFTLC. It felt really important to me that as Tillamook County, we retained a seat in leadership. As we know, there are 310,963 acres of state timber in Tillamook County, which is 45% of all state timber. So we really have a lot at stake in our relationship with the Oregon Department of Forestry and in the actions that they will take moving forward. Commissioner Yamamoto has been a fierce advocate for us by staying in leadership and making sure our voice is at the table. And so it is an honor to step into a leadership role in that organization as well, to make sure that Tillamook County's voice remains at the table, and that we have the opportunity to provide leadership in how those activities move forward. So lots of great things from AOC. It really is an organization that is crucial to Tillamook County. We do not have lobbyists in Tillamook County. We rely on AOC to be our partner. They have 5 lobbyists that are all specialists in different areas, and we really need that organization to be strong and effective. And so I'm honored that my fellow commissioners chose me to step into, again, a leadership role there as well, to ensure that that organization remains strong and that organization really supports counties in the way that we need that to happen. So lots of good things happening there. I'll talk about a couple other things that I also have attended recently. I was able to attend the Northwest Act meeting, where I am currently a member. And the Northwest Act, as we've talked about before, is an advisory group to ODOT. We are just in the process of wrapping up our work plan for the Northwest Area Commission on Transportation, which is the ACT, and that work plan will go to the OTC, which is the Oregon Transportation Commission. And through that work plan, we identified across the region the highest priority projects that we would like the Transportation Commission to put into funding priorities. And I'm pleased to share that across the region, and our region is Columbia, Clatsop, Tillamook counties, and a small part of Washington County, that across that region, funding for Highway 6 was the top priority for everyone in the region. So that is something that's being elevated to the Oregon Transportation Commission, and we are hopeful that with that we will get some traction in getting funding to address some of the issues that came from the Safety on 6 report that that Senator Weber was able to make happen for all of us. So the next step is for us to push that forward and to try to get some funding for those fixes. This is not going to be a fast process, so I don't want to have anyone think that simply because it's a priority that the Transportation Commission will simply fund it, because that unfortunately is not how this goes. But having it as a priority at the Transportation Commission level gets it in line. So everybody keep your fingers crossed on that. We will keep pushing hard. We know that Highway 6 is a really key piece. A couple other priorities that also were highlighted in Tillamook County include the Salmonberry Trail, because there is a requirement for ODOT to spend a certain amount of funding on bike and ped pathways. So while we don't equate the need for a Salmonberry Trail with the need for Highway 6 repairs, there are different funding sources, and we want to make sure that we are elevating projects within the different funding sources. So Salmonberry Trail was identified as a priority, along with, as I said, Highway 6. Let me scroll down really quick and make sure I'm not what the other ones are. The one-lane bridges on Highway 130 continue to be on this list and elevated because of that amount of traffic that road gets with our visitors, and that just continues to increase as Google Maps sends people down that roadway. So that is also something that is on our priority list, along with Highway 101 north of Kelly's Brighton Marina, where we're having a lot of issues, both actually just south of that with rockfall and just north of that with the road itself slumping. So we were able to put a number of priorities into this and put it in front of the OTC, and again, we will continue to push for those pieces for Tillamook County. I also want to talk about the Houseless Action Network. So this is a new name that you have not heard, but this is really what is coming out of the House Bill 4123, or the $1 million that I have talked about on this call many times. We created a 5-year strategic plan with that work. We are in the process of finalizing a work plan in this work, and the Houseless Action Network is the group of people that are meeting regularly to create those plans and ultimately implement those plans. So we met yesterday. We have established a structure with 3 committees currently happening. One of them is related to shelter, another related to outreach, and a third related to funding. So this group is in its formation phase. And so we have our structure, we have our committees for this year, we have our areas of focus. We will be finalizing a work plan. We will then be sharing that out through the community. So I just want to let folks know there is a lot of work going on. I am super excited. I think they're calling her a program manager for this project has been hired, and that is Marlisa De Jesus. She's been hired at CARE, and she will be leading us through this work to make sure that we don't lose momentum and that we have staff support. So a lot of great things happening. I will announce when the next meeting is going to happen, because these are meetings open to the public, and we would invite anyone who is interested in this work to listen in and join us in this meeting. And if the work calls to you and you would like to be involved at a deeper level, there is an opportunity for membership in the committee, which does require a commitment, but one that we would be delighted to have anyone who really feels like this work is vital to join us in. Okay, and I will stop there, and we will move on to our cities. And Manzanita, I believe that Layla Aman was going to join us today. Layla, are you with us? Okay, I am not seeing her number. Oh, yes.
Can you, thank you. I finally got through. Thanks, Commissioners. This is Linda Kozlowski.
Oh, Linda. Good morning. Thank you. I apologize. I did not have your number on my list. I'm going to add that one. Thank you for being with us.
Okay, great. And I tell you, all of your reports from the Commissioners, it's a really hard act to follow. There's certainly lots going on at Tillamook County. And there's lots going on in Manzanita as well. So from Manzanita's staff perspective, we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Officer Garcia and the 20-year anniversary of Dan Weitzel, our Public Works Director. Both have been exemplary employees, and we sincerely appreciate their service and celebrate their service. We, too, on December 2nd, from 3 to 7, are having a holiday celebration. It's our second annual tree lighting celebration at Underhill Plaza. It's really a fun event. We'll have 3 bonfires, vendors from the farmers market, music DJ'd by DJ Romo, cider, cocoa, and Santa will arrive on the fire truck at 4:30. Everyone is invited, and it really is an event not to be missed. On a less festive but still important announcement, we have started the process of our comprehensive plan update after 30 years. We feel it's about time. The community will have significant involvement in this process, and the efforts are led by Councilor Catherine Stock and Planning Commissioner John Collier, along with our great city manager, Layla Aman, will lead this process. We recently passed our Nehalem Bay Transportation Plan for Manzanita, which we're really excited about, and we are continuing our revenue diversification discussions. Our new City Hall is moving forward really well. We are looking at plans with the hope of starting construction of our City Hall in the first quarter of 2024, and that's very exciting for us. As part of the City Hall process, we are abating and demolishing the old schoolhouse and the Quonset hut. We will save any part of these structures that can be repurposed for our new City Hall. And lastly, we'd like to announce that our Mayor Simmons resigned on November 13th. We've started the application process, and the application is posted on our website and other locations. We hope to make a selection for her replacement on January 24th, and we wish her the very best. So that's the report from Manzanita.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate you being with us. As I said, I will make sure we get your number on there so we know if you're here.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to Rockaway Beach. Mayor Charles McNeely.
Good morning, Tillamook County. Just two quick things for this morning. We signed the contract with Knife River for our Anchor Street Parking and Park project. We expect they will break ground by mid-December and complete the project in late spring. So this will bring to our city a brand new paved parking area with event space and two playgrounds, age-based playgrounds that are designed to provide access to everybody, and some tables, some picnic benches. So, and in the future, we'll have EV charging stations there. So, a big deal for us here in Rockaway Beach. And then second, with the gutting of recreational immunity, our insurance provider, CIS, has recommended that we close down all our trails. And so with this, Rockaway Beach will be closing all beach access and the Big Tree Trail over the next few months. That's it for us. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'll just add a few words about the recreational immunity. We had the opportunity to have CIS at the conference with us last week at the Association of Oregon Counties Conference, and we applied a fair amount of pressure to them related to the recreational immunity. And they shared with us that the League of Oregon Cities and the Association of Oregon Counties are working with legislators to try to get a fix to recreational immunity. For those listening, just to clarify that a little bit, there was a legal case that took place in the city of Newport last year where a pedestrian was walking to the beach and they used a section of trail that was owned by the city of Newport. The person slipped and fell and they sued the city of Newport. Typically, recreational immunity means that if you are recreating on public land, you cannot sue the owner of that public land because it is your land as a resident, right? And there's immunity from lawsuits. Otherwise, it makes it very difficult for public lands to be open for the public. In this case, what was decided was that she was using that pathway as a means to get to a recreational facility, that recreational facility being the beach. And because this was not actual recreation in and of itself, there was no immunity. So this has really raised a lot of concerns for cities and counties across the state of Oregon, because now we have to evaluate each of our pathways. We need to determine if they are a pathway or a recreational facility in and of themselves. And the only way to protect yourself, as we understand it, is to shut them down, and or you have to have a significant and in-depth maintenance plan for every path. So I think you will see other areas be closed at this time. Short Beach, which is a trail of the county, is closed for the same reason. We are all super hopeful that the legislature in their short session will create a fix for this. It's my understanding there have been court cases in the past that took away recreational immunity and legislative responses that have added it back. We are hopeful that the short session will lead to a legislative response that adds it back. We would really hate to be in a position where all pathways to the beach must be closed because we cannot protect ourselves from lawsuits. So just more to come on that, but Mayor, thank you for bringing that up. I think it's first and foremost in the minds of many cities and counties across the state of Oregon.
It's a big bad deal.
It's a big bad deal, 100%. Okay, moving on.
Well, I should. Let me just add, we're going to reach out to our residents and ask them to contact our state representative and state senator to encourage them to get active in this effort to fix the law.
Perfect. And I know that Senator Weber is still with us. I can see her on here. And I know that we've had this conversation. I have personally had this conversation with Representative Javity as well. I think they know this is a key issue. And I'm sorry that I don't know who at the legislature is introducing the bill, but I know there is one being crafted. So if you are a city on this call, you may want to reach out to the League of Oregon Cities, because I believe they are coordinating this effort for your benefit. And I believe that AOC is coordinating this effort for the counties and trying to get a bill that meets the needs for both of those organizations. None of us want to see our pathways closed. Obviously, people come here to go to the beach, and it's unfortunate that we put in a position where we have to declare something closed in order to protect our agencies and therefore the public.
This is Senator Weber, and I am looking forward to what that bill is going to say. It's definitely on my radar because we need to protect our resources and our people and our municipalities. And so I'm really anxious to see what kind of legislation is going to be introduced.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, Charles McNeely. We will move on to the city of Garibaldi, and I believe I have interim Mayor Katie Findling with us.
Yes, you do. Hello. We had a great long council meeting last night, but we do now have a full council with and are now recruiting people for budget committees. We also need to just announce that due to unforeseen circumstances, the U.S. Coast Guard is going to move our Garibaldi Coast Guard City designation ceremony to January. The date and time is to be determined, but I will update as soon as we know anything about that. We are also doing the Garibaldi Christmas tree lighting at the plaza by the Dairy Queen this Saturday between 5 and 6. There will be a Santa Claus as well as Twin Ranch Catering will be doing hot dogs and hot chocolate, and we will have little gift bags for kids and the gift bags themselves for parents. So that is from 4 to 5 this weekend on Saturday. And that's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to Bay City. Do I have either interim mayor? I think I do. Interim Mayor Kathleen Baker.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Just a few things to mention for the city. We had our first hearing on proposed updates to our development code and our comprehensive plan. This is a process that has been going on for 4 years now, so happy to see it coming to fruition. It's certainly an important stage in our city's development and represents improved attention to the development and our commitment to provide viable housing options for our residents and newcomers to the community. We appreciate the public's involvement in this process, and especially the positive, constructive comments that were provided by several residents. And mentioning the City Council approved the signing of 2 agreements, a grant for DEQ in the amount of $323,200 for the overflow and stormwater program. This designed for engineering on the Patterson Creek Culvert Replacement Project. And we also had a grant from the state Water Resources Department for $225,000 to install some earthquake isolation valves at our drinking water reservoirs, so we can hopefully maintain safe drinking water in the event of an earthquake. And that's about all for the city today. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and to stay safe out there. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, moving on to the city of Tillamook. We should have City Manager Nathan George with us.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you very much. I do have a few things. So I wanted to go over briefly last night. We had an executive session to talk about evaluating performance of a chief executive officer, which would be our city manager, myself. We also had, that's an annual review discussion. So we also approved, the council approved the minutes. Council also entertained a resolution regarding In God We Trust. And so last night the council approved a resolution that the city of Tillamook will support the words In God We Trust, and will actually be placed, the words In God We Trust will be placed in the city council chambers in a prominent location. So we also had, and that's a lot of cities have approved that throughout the country, including Oregon as well. It's a movement by an organization to solidify those words. So, and under new business, the city approved the purchase of a Peterbilt dump truck and hook box for our Public Works department, which we're happy about. We had our normal city manager operations report, which is on our website. We also talked about the Holiday Lights contest, and I will talk about that a little bit. And it was a fairly short meeting, so it went well. Council had a lot of great comments and compliments about things going on in our community and also our staff. So in the police department, this week Sergeant Hollis and Lieutenant Troxel met with our wellness application. Corkio's psychologist to talk about wellness application and what your police department is doing in regards to our wellness program. Sergeant Hollis and Lieutenant Troxel were invited to participate in a webinar in December highlighting the good work of the police department. We are very proud and excited to get this recognition. Lieutenant Troxel met with the Oregon Department of Motor Vehicles Program Coordinator for At-Risk Drivers Control Programs, set up a training for all our staff to learn about the programs offered through this program. Officer Sadler and Officer Fitzgerald attended the Oregon Peace Officer Association's annual training conference. Both were super excited to attend. We look forward to sharing all the knowledge with the rest of the team. So we try to get as much information we can and share it among each other in all departments, and especially the police department. School Resource Officer Olson attended a training course at the Tillamook School District regarding the Applied Suicide Intervention Skills Training. Our SRR Officer Olson is also looking forward to sharing what he's learned with the team. Lieutenant Troxel and City Manager George and the Public Works Assistant Director Kyle Fetzer all attended a tour of the City of Vancouver's response to those experiencing homelessness in Vancouver, Washington, not BC. I'm talking about the first Vancouver here, Vancouver, Washington. Their creative and innovative ideas were inspiring. While the City of Tillamook may not have the money to respond at the level of Vancouver's responding to, there are ideas and strategies we can explore. This week, the rest of the team attended firearms training in our police department. In low light and no light situations, this training is always a highlight of the year for the firearms training. In the Public Works department, our Public Works crew continues to set up light displays, many of which are at City Hall. And we are excited to announce that the 21st annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony will be held on Saturday, December 2nd. The lighting of the Christmas tree serves as centerpiece of the city's beloved annual holiday traditions in Tillamook. The tree will remain illuminated throughout the holiday season. Our family-friendly events unite our community to enjoy free, local entertainment for adults and of children of all ages and abilities. And along with the lighting of the Christmas tree will be followed by the Christmas light parade. There'll be food and drink, pictures of Santa, entertainment, a coloring contest, prizes, and more. And we want to thank the Tillamook People's Utility District for helping us put up decorations this year, especially on the tree. The tree will be lit. It's the large evergreen or pine tree on what used to be, but is now the Tillamook County Transportation District property, which is the transit center next to City Hall. So we're very excited about that. Don't forget to spread the word by telling your friends, family, and neighbors. We look forward to seeing you there. Please see our Facebook page or website for more details and updates. And you may contact Megan Chensley at our Public Works. And you always go to publicworks@tillamookor.gov, or you can call and text our main number. You can't text our main number. You can call our main number and get some more information for questions and inquiries regarding the Christmas program. And a fun fact, did you know that during the Great Depression, when the unemployment rate hit 25%, the government employed millions of Americans to complete public projects such as building schools, airports, and roads. In fact, between 1933 and 1939, more than two-thirds of federal emergency expenditures went toward public works. The city will be, again, sponsoring a holiday light decoration contest for residents and their homes within the city. The winner will receive free utilities for a month. For information, more information provided in the future on both the city's website and in the city's social media platforms. I wanted to give a little more detail on the tour that Lieutenant Troxel and our Assistant Public Works Director Kyle Fetzer and I took in Vancouver, Washington. We actually were able to tour what is I don't know if it's officially called a pallet community, but it's a company, Pallet, that makes these little tiny homes, very tiny homes. They have living quarters, and they had a very nice area that they had put them on, which was an abandoned right-of-way, a nice paved one actually, and it had an area for a kitchen, an area for a living room, it had a garden, it had several portable restrooms, storage area, and the little homes were actually, although small, were very nice. And they recommend no more than about 20 to 25 per those communities. So got some really great information. We also went and visited an RV recreational vehicle and a car truck camping area, not large tractor trailers, but just pickup trucks. This was in an abandoned area where C-Tran, which is the transit center, or the transit company in the Vancouver area, had not donated, but is loaning to the city for $1 a year. It was very good. It was very good to see what they're doing and how they're helping transition folks to being in a better position. So, also last week, Assistant Public Works Director Kyle Fetzer and our Public Works Project Manager Madeline Orton, our wastewater treatment supervisor Levi Beachy, and I met with the city's engineers and several representatives in the Port of Tillamook Bay, including the Executive Director Michelle Bradley, to hold the first of several workshops to help determine the location of the new water transmission main for Phase 1. We are very pleased with the partnership with the Port of Tillamook Bay and look forward to working together this very important project. Again, we thank Senator Wedder for all the work she did to get that $12 million. Yesterday, Lieutenant Troxel and I attended the Tillamook County Coordinated Houseless Collaborative yesterday, and I said yesterday twice. This group of dedicated individuals and organizations are working hard to find solutions for our residents who are experiencing homelessness. We are very pleased to have been invited and be a part of this team. And the city is pleased to announce we have a new employee in the planning department who has filled the position of planning technician. We welcome Isaac on board and are pleased again to have a full planning department. 2 people is all we have the money for, but we're very grateful to have them both there. We have several technician positions available in the Public Works Department. Please visit our website or stop by City Hall for an application. Reminder, if you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergencies and dispatch for non-emergencies. The City Hall will be closed tomorrow, Wednesday, November 22nd, and Thursday, November 23rd, in observance of Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving. We will reopen as usual on Monday, November 27th at 7:30 a.m. We wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And the next council meeting will be held on Monday, December 4th at 7 p.m. We encourage anyone interested to attend, and either virtually or in person. And that's all I have. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Nathan. Okay, we will move on to South Tillamook County, and I know that we do have Doug Olson with us. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning, Commissioner. Very nice day in South Tillamook County today. I know we're running a little long today, so I'll be brief. Bazaar season is starting in South County, and perhaps I can provide some more information next week, but at that time of year. What I did want to mention today again is the Chamber of Commerce, the Pacific City Nestucca Valley Chamber, has our annual awards banquet 2 weeks from today, which would be December 5. We give out awards for Business of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, Citizen of the Year, have a very nice meal. And as I mentioned before, our speaker this year is former Senator Betsy Johnson. She represented all of Tillamook County for nearly 20 years, actually over 20 years in the Oregon legislature, and she'll be our guest speaker, but she will not be, this will not be a political speech. I've visited with her several times, and she indicates that, that she does not coming in here to campaign for anything. She's not running for anything, but we'll be talking about Oregon and how diversified the state is. She's been to all 4 corners many, many times. She grew up in Central Oregon, so she's going to talk more about Oregon and our unique qualities and the people and so on. So if you've not heard her before, you really need to buy a ticket and come. And speaking of tickets, we have 120 seats roughly, and we have about a dozen, maybe a little bit more left. So I'm going to give a number that someone could call and leave a message, and we will get you a ticket or get you on the list. The number is 503-539-9982, and I'll repeat that, 503-539-9982. The tickets are $60, but you'll get a wonderful evening. We'll also have an auction with a number of good items, and you'll hear Senator Johnson and hear about the awards and the people who have earned those awards over the past year. So with that, Commissioner, thank you very much, and we'll talk again later.
All right, super. Thank you so much. Well, we will wrap up this call with wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving week. We hope that everyone enjoys time with friends and family, and we will look forward to being back together next week. So with that, we will adjourn this meeting. We will thank KTIL for broadcasting and everyone for attending, and adjourn this meeting at 9:15 a.m. Thank you, everyone.